Sir, what is your full name, please?
John Castro.
What's your middle name?
Excuse me?
What's your middle name, please?
Any?
All right, so Mr. Castro, you have two separate felony cases. One case is a charge of burglary in third degree. The other case was unlawful possession of a dangerous drug, unlawful possession of a narcotic drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. I am going to enter pleas of not guilty. Let you know you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by counsel. You do have an attorney who is present seated next to you, representing you for this morning's hearings. I'm going to hear from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation. And County Attorney, they are two separate cases. What is your recommendation?
Yes, Judge, I submitted two different recommendations. On the burglary case, I'm asking for a $20,000 bond based on the nature of the offense. And on the drug case, I'm just asking for $1,000 for time credit. I'd note that Mr. Castro has prior felony convictions.
Thank you. Defense counsel.
Despite the fact that he may have some priors, Judge, the most recent one was from May of 2021, and he completed parole, and there is no indication that there was any problem with that completion. And so given that he is able to follow through with supervision, we are asking the court to consider supervision of pretrial services release, because Mr. Castro has a full-time job, he has family in this community, and a residence of 12 years. So he is more likely to attend court than any other individual, as well as he's got the means to take care of his legal issues. And we'd like him not to lose his employment, so we're hopeful that you will please allow him release to pretrial. He will check in, he will follow through, and despite the nature of the charges, they are not dangerous offenses. Thank you.
Mr. Castro, for your burglary case, your bond is set at $2,000. For your drug case, it's $1,000. Public Defender's Office is appointed on both cases. For your burglary case, you're not allowed to go back to that victim's home. Both cases, your preliminary hearings are set May 22nd at 1:30 p.m. And then you also had misdemeanor cases, charges of assault and disorderly conduct, 3 counts of assault and 2 counts of disorderly conduct from yesterday's date. Going to enter pleas of not guilty, don't have any contact with that victim, don't go back to that residence location. I am going to release you on that case. June 12th at 9 a.m. is your next court date. I will appoint a city public defender to represent you on your new matters. And I'll let the city court know that you're currently in custody on that felony case. You are excused. Thank you.
So a total of $3,000 fine. State did ask for $21,000, so the judge lowered it substantially.
What is your full name, please?
Lene Sunshine Cooper.
You're charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, drive-by shooting, and unlawful discharging of a firearm within the city limits. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. You do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. You do have an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this morning's hearing. I'm going to hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I'll hear from your attorney. Let's see. County Attorney?
Thank you, Judge. I'm requesting a bond of $75,000. I understand that pretrial services somehow recommended this defendant's release. I don't know how that recommendation holds up given the nature of these charges. She's charged with a Class 2 felony for drive-by shooting. Outside of murder, that's the most serious class of felony we have in this state. I'm very concerned about the facts of this case. It seems like a road rage incident gone wrong where she shot at another vehicle, then got out of the car and held the occupants at gunpoint. This could have ended very differently. Furthermore, in the interim complaint, I noted the officer went to lengths to list the fact that she laughed and said she had ties to the reservation. That concerns the state as well for her non-appearance at court, because if she goes back to the reservation, we would have to extradite her back into Pima County. So for all of those reasons, based primarily on the nature of the offense, I'm requesting a bond of $75,000.
Defense counsel.
Judge, I need to start first by asking, because I heard a different last name. Did you say Cooper?
Yes, it's Conrad in here. They have under Conrad, yes.
So Judge, she says her last name is Cooper, but it is listed as Conrad.
Yeah, Lene Sunshine Cooper is her real name.
That's my maiden name.
All right,
Is that your legal name?
Yes, now, because I'm divorced, yes.
Okay, she is divorced and that's why Conrad is no longer her last name.
okay, thank you.
Yes. All right, and then as to conditions of release, Judge, I understand the state's position. However, we would have a different argument if it had ended very differently, and it didn't. So there is no actual injury done. I'm not saying there aren't victims, but I am saying there's no actual injury. And so for those reasons, and the fact that there's only one prior felony matter, and it is from 2007, and at that time, she completed her parole of a 6-month sentence. We would ask that the court please consider her release today. She is employed. She does have 44 years in the community. She clearly has not had anything other than the one case. There aren't even misdemeanors showing from city court or any other courts that I see. And she will appear for all future hearings. It seems appropriate that you could order no driving without a valid license, and you could order, or just no driving, whether she has a license or not. It also seems appropriate that pretrial services could and would supervise her if you would allow that consideration this morning.
Ms. Cooper,
Thank you.
Ms. Cooper, your bond is, I am concerned about the alleged nature of the facts of this case, the fact that firearms were being shot at another vehicle. I'm setting your bond at $20,000. You are not allowed to have any contact with the alleged victims in this case. No firearms or weapons. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set May 22nd at 1:30 p.m. Your attorney will be in touch with you soon. Thank you.
If you postpone, make sure to call the attorney as soon as possible. If you're not able to postpone, the attorney's going to be out to see you, and then you can talk to them about the bond at that time.
Okay, so what do I do with this?
You pay it in order to get
Okay. Or what do I do?
You talk to bond agents, they'll tell you what they can do and what they can't do.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right, thank you. Excuse me?
What is your full name, please?
Robin and Moore Ray.
Ms. Moore, it looks like you were arrested for a charge of drug paraphernalia possession and unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. I am going to enter pleas of not guilty. The state has made a decision at this time to dismiss your case without prejudice. So I am dismissing your case without prejudice. You are being released. There is a possibility the state could refile your case at some later point. If you receive a summons in the mail to appear, it may be because this case was refiled. But for now, you are excused. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, shoot, you know what, Ms. Moore, I'm sorry, she had a case out of Morena. Sorry about that, sorry. Ms. Moore, you actually had 3 cases pending in Morena. They were warrants for your arrest, all drug paraphernalia charges. I'm gonna quash the warrant, release you. Make sure you make it to Morena City Court, June 5th at 10 a.m. If you don't, more warrants will issue for your arrest. You are excused.
Okay,
Thank you.
is there any way I can get a way, like a map telling me where this is? Because that's one of the reasons I missed court. And
I'm not giving you
I'm
a
sorry.
map, but you can look it up online. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Show up or more warrants will issue, and then she'll quash them.
Thank you.
What is your full name, please?
Isabel Rivas.
You're charged with unlawful possession of a narcotic drug, unlawful possession of a dangerous drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. I am going to enter pleas of not guilty. I need to let you know that you have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. There is an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this morning's hearing. The prosecutor's office is okay with your release of supervision of pretrial services. I will follow that recommendation. You must comply with any market treatment as directed by pretrial services. You are not allowed to drink any alcohol or take any illegal drugs, and you certainly cannot be in possession of any illegal drugs while on release status. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your first hearing is called a SMART hearing. It is set on May 21st, 2024 at 9 a.m. You've got to make this hearing date. If you don't appear, a warrant will issue for your arrest. So make sure you appear. Your attorney will be there with you. Your preliminary hearing for the record is set June 3rd at 1:30 p.m. Ms. Olivas, you also had misdemeanor charge. Looks like you were arrested for, cited for speeding charge, which is civil, failure to stop for a red light, which is a civil, no vehicle registration, no insurance. Those are all civil charges, all enter not responsible. But you did have a driving on a suspended license that was criminal. The state is making a decision to dismiss the criminal charge, so I am doing that. Regarding your civil charges, you will need to appear at city court before June 12th to either set those charges up for a hearing to challenge the citation, or you can plead responsible and just pay the fines. But you've got to make sure you show up by June 12th. If you don't, then you're going to default and you're going to be owing a lot of fines. Because the insurance charge alone, I think that fine is over $1,000 alone. So you've got to make sure you set up a hearing in city court, okay? Thank you, you're excused.
So other than the addition of you can't drink alcohol, your bond conditions are that you have to follow the rules that all of the rest of us have to follow on a daily basis. Fair.
What is your full name, please?
Taylor Dean Prince.
Stuck a feather in his cap and called him macaroni.
All right, Mr. Prince, you have been arrested and accused of a crime of unlawful possession of a dangerous drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. I am going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You appear to be eligible to participate in a diversion program called STEPS that only requires you to participate in a plan specific to your needs for a short time. If you choose to participate and complete the program, these felony drug accusations in your arrest report will be permanently dismissed without you ever being formally charged. Are you interested in getting released from jail custody now and learning more about the STEPS program at your next hearing date?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll release you to the supervision of pretrial services. You must comply with any monitoring treatment they recommend. Sir, while you're on release status, you're not allowed to drink any alcohol, take any illegal drugs, do not be in possession of any illegal drugs. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your first hearing is called a SMART hearing. It is set for May 21st, 2024 at 9 a.m. You must be present in Superior Court for this hearing date. If you're not present, a warrant will issue for your arrest. And defense counsel, you're willing to waive time limits for the preliminary hearing?
Yes.
All right, so your preliminary hearing is set June 26th at 1:30 p.m. Make sure you stay in touch with your attorney. They'll explain everything to you. You also, sir, Mr. Prince, had several warrants for your arrest at a city court on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cases. Mr. Prince, as you can tell, these cases will never go away until you appear in court to resolve them. There involve charges of drug paraphernalia, shoplifting, criminal trespass. I'm going to give you a chance to appear in court and see me on June 10th at 9 a.m. Make sure you appear. If not, I will issue a warrant. And when you show up on June 10th, there's a possibility you could resolve all your cases in city court on that date. You are excused, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you soon. What is your full name, please?
Felicia Riley.
You are charged with criminal damage and one count of endangerment. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. Need to let you know you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. There is an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this morning's hearing. The prosecutor's office is okay with your release to the supervision of pretrial services. I will follow that recommendation. You must comply with any monitoring treatment as directed by pretrial services. You are not allowed to drink any alcohol while on release status. You cannot take any illegal drugs. You cannot drive without a valid license. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. June 3rd at 1:30 is your preliminary hearing. Make sure you stay in touch with your attorney. You are excused. Thank you. What is your full name, please?
Sherry Rose Hedges.
I'm sorry, say your name again?
They told her she was
Sherry Maurice Hedges.
I'm sorry?
that she was arraigned already for the charges.
Should she be here or not?
She should not be seen.
All right, jail until unheard, I'm hearing from the clerk, she should not be seen today.
Sorry?
Are you the supervisor, Stephen?
I don't know. You gotta wait till she speaks.
She's not being seen at all.
Jail, we're not gonna see this individual today or this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we know when the next court date will be?
The clerk here is gonna find out.
She's like the second or third lady with that same hair color style, and I kind of love it.
They are looking for a court date for her.
Whoa.
She hasn't spoken yet, that's why. She's waiting for a court date. There's a lady before you.
I guess she's already seen that charge. Talking about the minute entry, the last minute entry for this one.
All right,
I'm
so
not sure why it came up.
we don't have a court date. She's still in jail time or what? Why is she in custody?
This is the last minute entry for that charge.
Looks like she has a felony case at a Superior Court, Sherry Sanchez. So there was a warrant. She needs to be seen on this warrant.
Judge, we ask that she be heard this evening?
Yeah.
Would that
Yeah.
give folks time to process it?
Yep, she'll be seen
I'll
tonight.
look for the warrant.
All right.
Okay,
ma'am,
so you'll have court tonight, ma'am. Okay, I've conveyed that to her. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Ma'am, at the Pima County Jail, what is your full name, please?
Hi, Stacy Schmidt.
You have charged with unlawful possession of narcotic drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia, and pleas of not guilty. You do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. There is an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this morning's hearings. The prosecutor's office is okay with your release to the supervision of pretrial services. I will follow that recommendation. You must comply with any monitored treatment as directed by pretrial services. You are not allowed to drink any alcohol or take any illegal drugs, and you certainly cannot be in possession of any illegal drugs while on release status. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your first hearing is called a SMART hearing. It is set on May 21st, 2024 at 9 a.m. That is next week. You've got to make sure you appear in Superior Court. If you do not, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Your preliminary hearing is set June 3rd at 1:30 p.m. Ms. Smith, you also have a new misdemeanor charge for possession of prescription drugs. I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty, release you on that misdemeanor charge. Your next court date in Marana City Court is set for June 5th at 10 a.m. Make sure you appear, if not, a warrant will issue for your arrest. You are excused. Thank you.
She has to say.
I was looking at the impression that I was only.
You're released. You have two things. You have a misdemeanor from Marana, and then you have the drug charges. And so those are the two things. The SMART court is very important that we help you get your felony dismissed. You need to show up on May 21st.
Yeah,
If you miss that, you need to contact public defender. All right, and then you gotta get to Marana on your own. There's no attorney for that.
Okay, thank you.
Drugs? No way.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Take care.
Oh, listen.
What is your full name, please?
Christopher Williams?
Your middle name, please?
Michael?
You're charged with unlawful possession of narcotic drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. You do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. There is an attorney who is seated next to you, representing you for this morning's hearing. Looks like you're being held on another felony without bond, and the county attorney's office is asking for a $1,000 bond. Ms. Lyon, did you have any objection?
Just ask that it be lower, and we'd ask that it be 500 instead of 1,000.
Mr. Williams, your bond is set at $1,000, and you have the other case that's holding you. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you, and your preliminary hearing is set for May 22nd at 1:30 p.m. Your attorney will be in touch with you. Thank you.
Your attorney will have all the information and
Now,
paperwork.
I'm not sure what charges is, and I have money in my account.
Traffic drug and drug paraphernalia,
Mr. Williams,
and your attorney will have it.
Mr. Williams, you also had a city court case, Mr. Williams, 2 cases in warrant status. One was a theft case, the other one was unlawful possession of prescription drug and criminal trespass. I am going to enter pleas of not guilty, quash those warrants, release you on the misdemeanor matters. June 17th at 9 a.m. is your next court date. I will appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you on that matter. You are excused. Thank you.
All right, so you have 2 attorneys. You'll have the public defender for your felonies and the city public defender for your misdemeanors. Okay.
What is your full name, please?
Dale Antonia Zarro.
You are charged with domestic violence, disorderly conduct, and reckless discharge of a firearm. I am going to enter pleas of not guilty. Let you know you have a constitutional right to remain silent to be represented by an attorney. You do have an attorney who is seated next to you, representing you for this morning's hearings. County Attorney, what is your bond recommendation?
I'm recommending a $25,000 bond plus pretrial services if that bond's posted. Judge, my primary concern here is there's a domestic violence situation going on and a gun comes out, and she fired that gun. I'm concerned about the safety of the victim, so for that reason I'm requesting $25,000.
You didn't take pictures of her face.
No, because it doesn't matter, but I will note that for the attorney. Your Honor, we're asking that you please release Ms. Zarro on her own promise to appear or through pretrial services supervision. The state is also aware that according to the arresting agency, the victim indicated that he was not injured, and he said that the defendant is welcome to return to the shared residence if the court does not object. So for those reasons and her 37 years in the community and her ability to come to court, it looks like also that if there was a weapon fired, it was shot into the ground. It was not shot at any individual. And so for all those reasons and no prior felony or misdemeanor history, we're asking that she be released to pretrial services.
Your bond is set at $1,000. It's secured, plus release to pretrial services. You must comply with any amount of treatment they recommend if you're able to post that bond. You are not allowed to be in possession of any firearms or weapons. No contact with the victim, not allowing you to have contact with him. You cannot text him, social media him. You cannot go to where he's living. So if you're living there, you cannot go back there. I'll allow you one-time escorts with the police to pick up your personal belongings if you're able to post that bond. Public Defender's
He's actually out of
Office.
town. He left town.
It doesn't matter. You have enough cops to go to that residence.
Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set May 22nd at 1:30 p.m. Your attorney will be in touch with you soon.
Judge, I do have to ask the court a question. She's indicated that the residence is her home and that he is not in town and does not reside there, and she's concerned about her children.
Dogs and children.
Well, if he doesn't live there, then that's not his home. If it's her home and he does not live there, let me see.
We're separated. It's technically, he's been in Ohio and it's been separated off and on. He just left to Phoenix for the whole week, and then after that he's going to Ohio.
I don't know what the situation. If he doesn't live there, then obviously she can go. But if he lives there, she cannot go there.
Understood.
Thank you.
I saw a whole lot of crying faces, but not a whole lot of tears. I don't think I saw one actual tear, but I did see a whole lot of crying faces.
Talk to your attorney about all of this. It's super important that you follow through. You can absolutely do that. If you don't have the means to post that bond, we'll have the attorney come and get the photograph.
Okay, how do I do that?
I will make a note of it, and your attorney will do it.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta find $1,000 right now?
Yes, until you post $1,000, you're in the jail.
Okay.
When you find it, then you can get released.
Sir, at
We'll
the
talk to Ms.
Ajo
Stevens.
jail, what is your full name, please?
Garcia.
Your last name is Garcia, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, looks like you had a fugitive warrant for your arrest out of the state of, I thought it was Kentucky. Wait, let me see. Illinois, Department of Corrections. It looks like you were wanted on a Department of Corrections warrant, and I am going to quash that warrant, enter plea of not guilty, appoint you an attorney by a legal defender, and then the prosecutor's office is asking you be held without bond pursuant to the statute, which states that if you're a fugitive from justice on a DOC or parole, you are not entitled to bond. Ms. Lyons.
Your Honor, may I inquire of the state if they would allow a bond? Because certainly if it was a high enough bond that they felt comfortable, we would not object to that. Or is this, they just absolutely want no bond?
No, it's a no bond hold, especially the fact that he's at the border, but it's post-conviction, so I have to request a no bond.
Understood. I would ask then that a no bond hearing be set, Your Honor, as well as the preliminary hearing date.
They don't have no bond hearings on the fugitive cases. I will just set a hearing next week, May 16th, or later this week, May 16th at 2:30 for your fugitive warrant hearing. Thank you. All right, everyone.
Is that all?
Yes, thank you. Your excuse.
All right, happy Mother's Day to all who it applies.
Yes, you too.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,